We're very excited to have you with us, Jerry.
Yeah.
I know me and Rach, we've never done anything like this, so we're both very excited to see exactly what you're going to tell us. I know you're going to do a couple readings on us and then give some predictions out for the year. So we're going to go ahead and I volunteered Rachel to go first. So.
John went, Rach, you.
Yeah, Rachel first.
A couple things I see about you.
All right.
And I want to talk about your future, okay? Two key words for you are charity in a sense of like, charity in a sense of like serving, in a sense of like almost like being about teaching and serving. So even with the news thing, eventually I see you doing, if it's a choice between news and serving and the teaching, I see you doing those things.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like your life mission. I see that you doing that the rest of your life. And maybe you'll have your celebrity part that you use in that, but I see that big for you.
Interesting.
Does that sound like me?
That does sound like her. I always tell Rachel that she's always putting others before herself.
She's kind of like Mother Teresa.
Yeah, she really does.
And you have an old soul.
Thank you.
Yes.
You could even be involved in animal charities as well as human charities.
Oh, well, that actually makes a lot of sense to me. How much should I talk about my dogs?
Her dogs are her life. Like,
and other people's dogs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I like that reading. Thank
all right.
you. John's
so I guess
turn.
it's my turn.
Okay, now a couple things about you, John. First of all, you are, when I was a little kid, I used to pretend like I had a marker and drew big arms of myself, and almost like I wanted to be bigger and driven. You're kind of like that from a young age, very driven, perfectionistic. I see you staying in the news field or staying in the, you know, whether it's before the camera or behind it, you're almost like GM material. So I see you kind of, any ladder you need to go and step over, I think you're going to do that. And I think from a very young age you wanted to do that. So I see you continuing with that. And wherever that takes you, I think you'll be in a big, big market, whether it's New York or Boston or LA.
Ooh,
I think eventually that's where I see
you. Just made my morning right there. Okay.
So almost like any, like, you know, it's not even based on your age. It's on your soul and what you're capable of. But go for something you don't even, forget about age, like are you qualified? Just go for it anyway because your ability is very there. So reach for those ladders because you really can do it.
All right. Well,
and I see this from, I can see you being like the GM.
I can tell.
Very nice. All right.
Thanks for having me here, boss.
You just earned brownie points.
Like,
we're going to take you out to breakfast now.
Yeah. You can stick around. I like having him around. But again, if we were going to put this up real fast, if anyone wants to contact you, they could go to your websites right there, psychicfitness.com and also jerryhoskey.com. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you. But we know that you have some predictions for the year that we've
now my yearly predictions are they're kind of challenging, you know, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but I see a number of challenges.
Oh boy.
First of all, I think it's very likely within the next year or so, possibly even this year, we're going to have a huge earthquake in the United States, continental. And I mean like over 7. It could be much bigger than that. I also think it could spark a bunch of other things. I also think that you know how you've heard of the sun flares, the solar flares that are out? I think they're underestimating the power of that and how it's going to affect the magma and how it's going to affect, you know, the flowing underneath the earth and whatnot, and even volcano stuff, and even more activity in volcanic activity and earthquake activity. I also think that the records we've been having, you know, like the United States had all these records in weather, I think that's going to be the norm, not the exception. So the rest of this year I see more of that. I see that next year. I am not predicting the end of the world on 12/21, but I am saying that it's very likely we're going to have some major weather patterns and possibly a major earthquake in the continental U.S. I'm even worried about Seattle, California, and Yellowstone, those areas in particular.
Okay.
And I also think we're not going to react to it like Japan. You know, Japan, they sat patiently for hours. You know, like, I don't think America's going to do that. I think we're going to freak out a little.
Wow.
I also think that some of the satellite stuff is going to get messed up communications-wise based on the solar flares. I just think they're underestimating it. Scientists think it's no big deal or we can handle it. I just don't think that's the case. Also, Europe, I think, is a problem, and I don't think Greece is going to, you know, it's all going to be perfect. I think it's going to go south. So if you're in the stock market, I recommend you protect your money. I think gold will do well this year, possibly silver. And I would almost do something to hedge your portfolio if you're in the market. So whether it's talk to a financial advisor, like maybe like, do you guys know what SPY puts are?
I don't think
well,
so.
the S&P 500 has options. They're called SPYs. And if you do a SPY put spread for long dated, that might protect your portfolio in case the market goes down. But I don't think it's so we're ready to boost up. Even if they do a temporary solution to Greece over the weekend here, I think that ultimately the people are going to resist the people telling them what to do. So I think that, the austerity thing, I think they're going to resist that. They're not going to want to do that. And ultimately, they some of these people have long memories from the past where they were mistreated by certain people that now are trying to feed them cold soup. You know what I mean? And they don't want to eat cold soup. So I see this being a challenge.
Wow.
And I'm sorry that I hope I'm wrong. I'm not trying to be Dr. Doom here. but I see challenges.
Well, very interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, though. And I know that we enjoyed our own personal readings. We were very excited about that.
We both like this. Thank you.
Like our reading was good.
We like our futures.
Exactly. Thank you again, Jerry, for joining us.
So
We really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having
And
me,
again, if we could put your information on the screen again, you can log on to jerryhoskey.com and Psychic Fitness for more information about Jerry and how to contact him.